Hey, friendo, Steve here.
Hey, Larson.
And it's time for our hot, fresh, right out of the oven, star ratings for the longest pay-per-view in Earth history, AEW All in Texas 2025.
Wasn't there a show? It was just a show, not a pay-per-view, that was like 12 hours long?
Yeah, I think something like that. I don't know. I think it was just a show, though. I don't think it was a pay-per-view.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Anyways, how many stars do you give to the length of this show, Larson?
You know what? For a 6-hour wrestling show, I was never bored.
Yeah, that's true.
I was entertained throughout. I was invested in the outcomes of most of the matches.
Yeah.
I think at least 4.25 stars for the show as a whole. Maybe 4.5.
Wrong. 1 star per hour. 6-star show.
Oh, wow.
Anyways, well, we'll find out because we're about to give you guys our star ratings. Where would you like to begin?
I guess we should start with the first match of the main card, which was Death Riders challenging the Ops for those trios titles. Steve, what'd you give this one?
I gave this 3 3/4 stars. I thought it was really good. The action was good. Good wrestling. In terms of stakes, it's trios titles. Does anybody really care? I think the coolest thing about this part is that it was sort of like foreshadowing for how the Death Riders night was going to go. And then there was some intrigue at the end with the Samoa Joe thing. Thought the match was fine, pretty entertaining. Hard to compete with what you know is going to be on the rest of the card, though, or what we know was on the rest of the card. So 3 3/4.
Not too far off. I gave it 3.5. It was a really fun bout. And the intrigue coming out of the end after Joe gets stretchered out. How is that going to play into the finish? Will the Ops even be there? Are they joining Joe at the hospital to make sure their fellow Ops member is all right, rather than helping out Hangman? More than anything, that was kind of, I thought, what this match was primarily in service of was the larger story of the main event, as opposed to who's necessarily holding the trios titles. But yes, it's a bit of foreshadowing in terms of how the night was going to go for the Death Riders. It wasn't a good night for the Death Riders. Next match. Men's Casino Gauntlet match won by MJF. You know, these Gauntlet matches, Casino Gauntlet matches, are continually one of the highlights of the AEW program. It takes the best of the Royal Rumble plus the best of, I guess, like the Money in the Bank match, in that you have an opportunity to get a bunch of people in the ring and tell a bunch of stories and reference a bunch of stories from the past and further stories you're telling for the time being, with the idea this match can end at any time. You know, it's not a matter of, you got to eliminate everybody. It could end when 2 people are in the ring, 15 people are in the ring, 1,000 people are in the ring.
Yeah.
And it's really a highlight of what AEW has managed to come up with during the course of its existence in the wrestling landscape. I thought this one was really fun. The only knock I got on it was we all knew MJF was going to win going into it. And I understand the finish plays. I'm sure he's going to have more matches, going to further the story with Mark Briscoe. And the finish of this match will help in that. But in a bubble, the finish kind of meh. So I gave it 4 stars.
I gave it 4 as well. I thought it was really good. You're right. This is one of the highlights of AEW. And I actually kind of wish that they made some small modifications to it to make it just like their, like you said, Money in the Bank / Royal Rumble. I think every year we always ask who's going to win the Rumble, who's going to win Money in the Bank, because they're iconic yearly traditions in WWE. I feel like this can be the same thing. Who's going to be the Casino Gauntlet winner? And you can kind of try to map out stories based off of that alone. This match, the stipulation is that strong with it. So that's big picture. I agree with you. I actually put 4 stars as well, for the same reasons as you. We knew MJF was going to win this. I like the way he won it, and I thought there was a lot of fun stuff in the match. These things are always wildly fun. And now he holds the contract, which is a very significant story beat. You know, when Christian won it, it was almost like you can kind of tell maybe Tony Khan had buyer's remorse immediately, because it's like, this is kind of an important deal. It's got a whole folio case. And Christian just didn't really fit into the world title scene as a winner. MJF does. And so now we have that intrigue. I wish they would make this a once-a-year thing, maybe give it its own show, a big deal. But, Money in the Bank started out as part of WrestleMania, so eventually maybe it'll evolve into its own thing. We'll see.
At the minimum, it'd be great if they established it as, this part of the calendar This is Casino Gauntlet match season. That'd be great. Something to look
Yeah.
forward to, build stories towards.
The other thing I would love for them to do, man, is I don't even mind not knowing, because like the pool, like you said, is unlimited, and I like that idea.
Yeah.
Let's see the unlimited pool backstage, and I think you could still do that, and maybe not show the surprises, because the surprises are really cool too. But let's see people clamor and be on the edge of their seat backstage, because they might not even get into the match. I think that could be fun too.
The closest they got to that was, I think, the first or second one when Roderick Strong was really upset that he was next to come out.
Yeah, right.
Let's move on to the TNT Championship match. Steve, what'd you give this one?
TNT Championship match, obviously, we were expecting one thing. Adam Cole seemingly out with reportedly concussion issues, so it was a fatal four-way instead. You know what, man? I mean, we thought that this was a gimme for Kyle Fletcher. The match was really, really good. I gave it 3 3/4 stars because the match was really, really good. And it gave us an unexpected winner. Dustin Rhodes. Now, was it kind of confusing? Sure. But he's in his hometown, and they didn't go with what seemed like the gimme choice. So I can't criticize that aspect of it. So I gave it 3 3/4. I thought the wrestling was really good in this match. I went back and I was like, man, this is like a 3-star match. And then I started thinking about all the moments and the moves and stuff like that. And I was like, God damn, this is pretty hot. Now it was kind of, the heat wasn't really there because Adam Cole's situation, but the wrestlers really busted their ass. So I gave it 3 3/4.
I didn't go quite that high. I went 3 1/4. Yeah, it's hard to follow Adam Cole's promo. And get the crowd back into the match when, seemingly his career might be in jeopardy. Yeah, you can't quibble with the work here. The unexpected finish was unexpected, to say the least. Did not anticipate Dustin winning, but it was a nice moment for him in his home state. 3 1/4 for me.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the tag match with the Young Bucks EVP titles on the line. Will Ospreay, Swerve Strickland defeat the Young Bucks. Steve, what'd you give this one?
I gave this my tentative match of the year rating of 5.5 stars. This match was awesome. Stakes were high. Chemistry was off the charts. We had cinema in this match where Swerve, after getting hit with a hidden blade, understanding, because logic is too often missing in pro wrestling. And shout out to Swerve Strickland, who, kind of in the mold of Kevin Owens, always tries to find the logic in the story. Like him, Hangman coming in. How dare you bring a cameraman in my locker room? Boom, cameraman's motivated. That's all we asked for. Understanding that Will didn't mean to hit him with a hidden blade. It just happened. Doesn't need to be any arguments about or anything. So he struggles to get in, eats those super kicks. Goddamn, I'm getting freaking goosebumps thinking about it. Match of the year, 5.5 stars.
I gave it 5. That's as high as I go on my rating scale. There are several sequences in this match that I could try to put into words to describe what was happening, and I would fail because the action was so fast, so precise.
Yeah.
So from a technical, purely wrestling standpoint, this was match of the night.
Yeah.
It had the drama. It had the emotion. It had everything. So 5 stars for me.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the women's Casino Gauntlet match, won by Athena. This was my favorite of the 2 Casino Gauntlet matches. Primarily because there was more drama, because we had no idea who was going to win this.
Yep.
The action was great. Everybody in this match had a chance to showcase what they can do. And Athena winning was awesome. I gave it 4 1/4. I thought this was great.
We also got returns. We got surprises.
Yeah.
And so for that reason, I also gave it 4 1/4. I thought it was, I popped huge when Athena won. And the right winner. Yeah, can't say enough good things about this. This was my favorite casino of the night as well.
Let's talk about the tag team title match. You had Hurt Syndicate retaining over Jet Speed and the Patriarchy. If this was 10 to 12 minutes, I'd be like, all right, I can give this, probably something in the 3.5 star territory. This went on too long, and it seemed to go long for the sake of going long, as opposed to building up any sort of real drama as far as anybody other than Hurt Syndicate winning this match.
Yeah.
There was some fun stuff. But the most noteworthy thing to come out of this match is what happened after the match, with Nick Wayne turning on Christian, Cope coming out to make the save. So in the end, I gave it 3 stars. There was a lot to like in the match, but it was just way too long.
I went a little bit higher. Went 3 and 3. I'm sorry, 3 1/4. Everything you said is pretty much true. I thought the wrestling was fine. I thought that there seemed to be not just a clash of styles, but a sometimes when styles clash, so to speak. Sometimes when that happens, like, you can make a story out of that. They kind of didn't really do that with this. It was like, the big dudes threw people around. The cunning guys, the patriarchy, did their cheaty stuff, or their, opportunistic stuff, I should say. And then the fast guys did the fast stuff. But they didn't really, I don't know, they didn't really deliver on the story. It was a lot of plotting around. I think, it was like, oh, fuck, what do we do with 18 minutes? As opposed to, hey, let's construct a really cool 12-minute match. But like on a card where everybody else is getting, not everybody has to get 20 minutes. Not everybody needs that. We've seen some killer match of the year contenders that were like 13. So, yeah, a little too much here. And I feel like there was stretches of the match where it was like, I don't know, there was biting time. But,
yeah.
All
right, let's talk about the AEW Women's Championship match. Toni Storm retaining over Mercedes Moné. What'd you give this one, Steve?
I gave it 4.5 stars. I thought it was a terrific match, highly entertaining, huge stakes. The character stuff was all there. The presentation was outstanding from the entrances and all that. I thought it was really awesome stuff. I gave it 4.5 stars.
I'm not too far off, 4 1/4. Drama.
Kind of a shocking winner too. By the time we got there, sorry I didn't mean to cut you off, but by the time we got there, I was like, oh, Mercedes got this wrapped up, and then Toni won. I thought that was interesting.
Another match where, we thought it was going to go one way, ended up going the other way, which is great because a lot of times with shows from other wrestling promotions.
Oh, no, don't do that. No tribalism, Larson.
You could be 3 weeks out and know exactly how the match is going to be booked.
Yeah.
Including who the winner is.
Yeah, man.
And to have stories being told in matches happening where the outcome's in doubt, yet at the end you're like, all right, that makes sense. This doesn't come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I like it. It's refreshing. 4 1/4 stars.
There you go.
Next up, Kenny By God Omega.
Thank you.
Taking that L to the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada. Okada becoming the first unified champion. I spoke at length on our recap about how we couldn't expect this to be to the same level as their, storied classic series of matches 7-8 years ago. It's not to say this wasn't good. I thought it was very, very good.
Yeah.
In fact, I gave it 4 1/4 stars. I thought it was that good. There's
4 1/4?
Yeah. There was a couple instances in the beginning where there was some mistiming.
Yeah.
By the end, all that had been worked out. I thought this was excellent, though. Really good match. 4 1/4.
I gave it 5 stars.
Yeah.
This match was fucking awesome. Yeah, no, the only reason I didn't go higher than 5 stars, because, you and I differ a little bit on our star ratings. But the only reason I didn't go higher is because of fucking Don Cal. Like, I did kind of want, like, a straight-up finish instead of Don Callis, It felt like the finishing bits felt a little WWE-ish, Don Callis pulling the ref out and shit like that.
Yeah, all the interference and run-ins and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe the story should have been like Okada is better at this point than Kenny because Kenny's old and he's had diverticulitis.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of logical, and Kenny has to. But whatever. It's still these guys are amazing. Like goddamn, yeah, these guys are outstanding. I don't know if there's a match they can have against each other that doesn't have a floor of 5 stars. This match was fucking great.
It was great, but floor for this one was 4 1/4. Let's talk about the main event. Hangman Adam Page finishing his story, defeating Jon Moxley to win the AEW World Championship. Steve, what'd you give this one?
I gave this 5 1/4 stars. Not quite my match of the night in terms of the wrestling, so I couldn't give it 5.5. But I gave it 5 1/4. Kept me on the edge of my seat towards the finish. The goofy cornball shit they did. I love that stuff. And then of course just extreme violence is what Mox. If you ever want to be like, Mox and a Mox wrestling match, is usually like a 3.5 star affair. A Mox violent match, especially with the performance he gave in to punctuate this thing, best thing Mox has ever done. and putting over Hangman, just great. Yeah, 5.25 star. Boy, I loved this. I thought this was great.
In a lot of respects, this match had everything I love about pro wrestling. It had the corny
Glass.
stuff.
You're talking about glass.
Glass.
Real glass.
Real glass. Columbia River. The corny stuff didn't overstay its welcome. We had the kind of funny bit where Prince Nana handcuffed Marina Shafir to the timekeeper table.
That.
Comes out from under the table dancing. You had high drama with all the run-ins, especially with Swerve sliding that chain into Hangman so he could use it. I don't know if I've been invested in a pro wrestling story to the same extent I've been invested in Hangman's, his entire journey in AEW. I find his character immensely relatable, and I was very emotionally invested in this match. And when I saw the outpouring of emotion from Hangman when he won, I got emotional too. That's what we want from stories, is to make us feel something or make us think. Ideally both. And this one got me. So while it might not have been the wrestling match of Swerve and Ospreay against the Young Bucks, in terms of my level of emotional investment, this was a 5-star match. Therefore, 5 stars for me.
Very good. Very good. All right. Where were this, tentatively speaking? I know, I'm putting you on the spot here. Is this consideration match of the year for you?
Oh, the main event? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I have to look at the list.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's 2 matches, the main event and then the Young Bucks Ospreay Swerve are obviously contenders for match of the year.
Yeah, yeah.
In terms of what is actually, I'd have to.
Well, no, yeah, I'm just asking, would you consider it on your list?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean,
a possibility.
I did do a review of other ones that would be in contention, but yeah.
Yeah, it was. I mean, man, so far, I think. I don't know. I have to go back and think, but so far between this and this might sound corny, but the actual Cena heel turn. Moment of the year, Hangman winning, that's got to be up there,
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
Anyways, that's going to do it for this edition of our Hot and Fresh Star Ratings. Drop us your Hot Fresh Star Ratings in the comments below. The quicker, the fresher, the better. Till next time. When do you think we're going to get those other guys? Do you think there's going to be another power outage? We're going to have to wait 3 weeks?
I mean, it's possible.
It's always possible.
We don't know what's going to happen.
We'll find out. Hopefully, we'll find out what those other guys have to say about this show on Friday.
Friday morning, yeah.
Until next time, we'll see you guys around.
Goodbye.